ticking clock.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another exciting episode of Hanging Out with Chops. I'm your host, Choppy Chops, a recording engineer by trade. Welcome to this podcast. Talk a lot about the recording process, what happens in these booths, and life. What happens outside of here. They're both connected, guys. A shout out, like always, to all you first-time listeners. Thank you for joining us. And for all you returning listeners that are back here for another round, guys, thank you for coming back. And this time around, I want to send out a special shout out. And I really don't know what to call you guys, but I'm going to call you all my midnight crew, because I've been trying to stay consistent. It's really hard with the schedules that I have, but I'm trying to always have a podcast ready by Monday at midnight. I make sure that it posts and it's ready to go. And man, you midnight crew guys, I've noticed that as soon as it posts, I get alerted. Ding, 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 ding. All the people that are downloading it, the instant, I'm talking about the second it goes live, you all are grabbing those new episodes. And man, that's really awesome, guys. So if you're part of the midnight crew and you're getting these podcasts the instant they post, thank you so much, guys. Really and honestly, it's awesome. I usually wait till sunrise when I go do my walk to actually listen to it and make sure that that I wasn't mumbling or the stuff that I always criticize myself about. But man, thank you so much for beating me to the punch, and thank you guys. I mean, what else can I say? Anyway, guys, it looks like we got some momentum going, and it looks by the analytics that I'm seeing, y'all really dug this 5-part series. So you know what? I'm gonna throw another one at you. One more, and we're not gonna call this part 6. We'll just call this the next episode. But it's related to the last 5, and this is gonna be the biggest mistakes I see bands do after the record is completed. Probably pitfalls you all would want to avoid if you're just finishing your album and you're just wrapping up the project. So like always, guys, thanks for joining me. Let's get into it.
We're hanging out with Chops. Time just never stops. Answers fade like drops on a broken ticking clock.
All right, guys, let's do this. One of the biggest mistakes I see happen when bands are done with their project, and it's not their fault, is the whole recording process destroys the band. I've seen it. I've even commented. I mean, if you listen to some of the early podcasts, I always comment, I love doing the second album of any band, because sometimes the first album kills the band. And it's unfortunate. It happens. Around here we say a lot of butts get hurt. And I mean, we're all human. I mean, it's human nature, and feelings get hurt. But it happens. When you're finally here to throw it down and you realize that you don't have the chops to do it, and then I gotta make the call, and then, hey, so-and-so is going to come do drums. And then the drummer, you could just see his shoulders drop and his head. And he knows now that he doesn't have the chops to record an actual album. And it hurts his feelings. Sometimes, unfortunately, they don't recover. And at that point, even though they may not say it, they're kind of looking for the exit door already. It's unfortunate. I also see it with the songwriting. Everybody tried to write a little bit, but the one guy that the 3 songs he wrote, nobody liked. Maybe he just sucked. Maybe he's just not a good writer. But he took it very personally. And now he's looking at the exit door. It's hard, guys. You really do have to you really have to check your ego at the door. I mean, I'm sure everyone's seen that famous, post of when the all those recording legends were doing We Are the World back in the 80s, and it had so many mega hit singers all in one room. And that's what they wrote outside the room before you walked in was, check your ego at the door. Because at the end of the day, I mean, really and truly, it's work. And you shouldn't take it too personal. But if you do, it's understandable. Plus, all the other aspects of it. When you finally put an actual dollar amount to what this cost, what it might make back, may break up the band. I know it's kind of sad, and it's kind of a bummer, but we gotta talk about it. Hey, but once you get past this one, it's like anything else. It's like your first big breakup with a partner. It's like the first time you ever broke something. The first time you ever broke your leg or your nose or your finger or whatever, Second time around, it ain't that bad. Before you know it, the second album will be easier than the first one. Third album gets even easier. And before you know it, it just becomes a process. And it becomes so much of a process, just like any other part of it. Just like buying strings or replacing an amp because you've already worn the heck out of that one. Now, we could go on for a while on this subject, but I'm not going to. To a lot of guys, the record feels like the finish line. Yeah, man, I hate to break it to you, but that's really where the real work starts. It's like building a car, I guess. Think about it, First you do all the research, then you save your money, then you buy the engine, you put the engine in, you dig the paint, you paint it, you upholster it, whatever, you get it all up and going, and then you decide to just leave it in the garage. I've seen bands spend thousands, spend months, sometimes even years, and then they lose momentum 2 weeks after the album is released. And it's not because the music wasn't good, it's because they weren't ready for what comes right after. I've watched great albums just disappear, like they owed somebody money and they had to skip town. And every time I see it, it's the same stuff. Same mistake over and over. They finally release the album. They put it up on digital platforms. They make a post or two. They tell their aunt, their uncle, their cousins. And then the band goes basically into witness protection program. No follow-ups. No nothing. They expect the album to go make their dreams come true. Look, releasing music is not like a birthday party. It's not like, hey guys, thanks for coming, see you all next year. It's a campaign. You gotta stay in people's faces, respectfully, but consistently. This one kills me. Man, this is our best work. People are gonna find it. Cream rises to the top. No, it doesn't. And no, they're not gonna find it. Why? Because they're busy. Just like you're busy. Just like everyone in the world is busy. There's like 100,000 songs dropping every day. Your record isn't sitting there glowing like Simba and Pride Rock. You gotta carry it. Everything leads up to release day. That big moment. Then it drops. And everyone looks around like, now what? Well, no videos, no content, no rollout. You didn't release a record. You just dropped it and walked away. You're supposed to unfold it. Here's a piece of it. Now here's another piece. You want to keep the people engaged. I see that here all the time. Guys look at their budget and they're like, hey, our budget's going to allow us 2 singles a year, 4 singles a year, 6 singles a year, whatever. And with those singles going to come this many videos. Hey, if it's 3 singles with 3 videos a year, that's their budget, fine. Every 4 months, they're dropping something. They drop one, promote it, start ramping up toward the next one. Drop that one, promote it, start ramping up to the next one. And it's just like a conveyor belt. they got going. Some guys afford 4. So that means every 3 months. Some guys do 6. That's every 2 months. Boom, 1 in January. Boom, 1 in March. Boom, 1 in May. But they have their conveyor belt going. It's not they put one video and then they just wait some undetermined time. It could be 3 months, 6 months, a year, and then they do the next one. No, they have their strategy set up. They have their plan of attack going. I see bands just wait way too long to promote. And this one right here, this point, this is where I can tell you who's thinking ahead and who's not. A lot of them will wait till the record's done to start thinking about promotion. And at that point, you're already too late. Promotion is done while the album's being made, while the tour is being made. I see it all the time. As the band is doing the album, they're already reaching out. Hey, in 2 months, we're going to be in your state, in your city. We should be either close to wrapping up the album or the album will be wrapped up. Can we stop by for an interview? Can we get on the radio? Can we do your podcast? Anything. Some local show that we can get on. So when you make that stop to that city, it's not just a one venue stop. It's you stop, you do your venue gig that makes you money. Then you go do your promotion, whether it's you hit the radio station, glad hand the DJs, you can actually see the program director, talk to him. Podcasts are great now. Hey, check it out, you're listening to one now. There's a podcast in that area, you know the guy, even though you don't know the guy. You know that he's in that area, you're going to be in that area. You start reaching out. Hey, in 2 months, we're going to happen to be by you. Would you be interested in getting us on to promote our new album? If our new album is not done by that point, it'll be very close to being done. So we'd like to take advantage of us being within your area. And before you know it, you got a good week, 2 weeks, month, 3 months, all scheduled out. And guys, this is great. Everybody loves this. The podcast guys will be appreciative because they're going to have new content. Venues love it because they're going to have new bands or have you back to a venue that they know that they liked you at already. So it's a win-win, but you have to be proactive. By this point, once you're done, I get it. You're tired. You've been in the studio for days, late nights. Hey, money is gone, nerves are stretched thin. And what happens? The record drops and everybody's burnt out. Everybody disappears to go rest, to go recover. This is the worst time to rest. It's like cooking a steak, getting it perfect, and then you just leave it on the table because you go take a nap. Your dog comes and takes it. Sometimes I don't see bands ever finding their lane. Some bands have great songs, great albums, but I still don't know who they are, which lane they're in. Why should I care? People don't just connect to music. They connect to something bigger than them. What are you? What I mean is, when you don't have a lane, 2-3 songs are like reggae-ish songs, and then 2 of your songs have rap parts, and then you have 4 ballads, and then 1 long 8-minute instrumental. What kind of band is that? I mean, there's not really a lane for a band set up like that. Another mistake I see bands do once the album is over is they don't have anything else to show but the album. What I mean by that is the whole time they were in the studio, all those months they were arguing and laughing and cutting up jokes and, creating different versions of the songs. Nobody captured it. Nobody was filming it. Nobody was getting behind the scenes. Nobody was getting clips. Nobody was getting those magic moments. And now when you're trying to promote it, you got nothing. All you got is like vibes. I do want to add one quick point, guys. I think it's really important capturing footage. Here it's becomes second nature, much like anything else, much like scheduling the bands or taking payments for sessions, giving band receipts for sessions, that kind of stuff. At the end of the day, now another part of my job is I also turn in footage. You know, it's expected of me now. And not just me, it's expected of all the engineers, especially with artists that are here on the label. So, hey, when I'm over here in the drums and I'm actually chit-chatting with the drum guy as I'm setting up cymbals and we're trying out different cymbals, I'll tell him, hey, dude, I'm going to do a little B-roll, or I'm going to take some footage. I always say I got to send it upstairs. They're like, cool. They'll record us talking about drums and, you know, trying out different cymbals or whatever, and then I'll say, hey, let me take some pictures, Or it even happens where the band's getting ready to leave. I'm like, hey, dude, I completely forgot. I gotta turn in pictures. Everybody just pick up something and pretend you're doing something. And, you know, and I'll take some quick snapshots and send them upstairs. But a lot of times when I don't forget, I'm actually doing my job, I do catch some really good stuff. So I would recommend that to you all as a band. Especially in the studio. Hey, the drummer's recording. A couple of guys, grab your phones. Record him recording. You see some conversations going on, record it. And don't release it, store it. You know, if you have an actual media person, at the end of the day, send it to them. Everybody send your footage to them and have that person in charge of whoever's the one that posts. But it's like the majority of the stuff I do goes up on the gram and, you know, goes up on Facebook and, you know, pretty much all of the social medias, you know, it goes up on. And another point, which does help promotion, not just for the album, but actual promotion for the band, is vlogs. There's a couple of bands that I love their vlogs. It's just them being idiots. And you know what? I like seeing that. I like seeing them doing stupid stuff. You know, them in the tour bus heading to the gig and them stopping at big truck stops and, you know, playing jokes on each other and them talking about real life and them at huge arenas and sound check and that kind of stuff. So, hey, if it can make a fan of me, you can make fans of other people that probably love your music already. So seriously, guys, you should consider vlogs and maybe even consider getting someone to just handle the media portion of it. Hey, if you can afford it. If you can't, then amongst yourselves, do it. And it's like anything else. It's just adhering to a schedule and consistency. You can start off with a year of, and you collect all your footage for this year, and then at the end of the year, wrap it up with this is what we did this year. Or you can do, hey, let's do twice a year. Or everyone, let's do, you know, every 3 months, let's put out something. It doesn't have to be huge. It can be 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. And people love the behind the scenes. Believe me, you'll get more fans that way, and you'll get more being consistent. Trust me, guys, I know what I'm talking about. Like I said, if bands can make me fans of theirs because of the stupid stuff they talk about, that has nothing to do with their gigs. You know, it has nothing to do with their musicianship or craftsmanship or whatever. It just has to do with guys being guys or girls being girls. But when you have all this material, especially great video and pictures, you start releasing it slowly. Like I said, you start unfolding it and letting the people see a little more and a little more, and it keeps you fresh to them. Even though this may have happened months and months ago, they've never seen it. So it's cool that they might hear your song now slowly starting to get some momentum, but it's even cooler when you release a little bit of footage of you in the studio actually creating it. You know, this is just you with your beat up guitar and flip-flops and cap turned backwards, you know. This is not you in your stage get up. You know what I'm saying? Another area that I see that sometimes hurts bands once the record is released is in the live shows. I've seen this crash and burn many times. The perfect example is the band finishes a record, they're hyped, they're proud, and then on the next show, they play the whole new album, front to back. And you could feel the room. We don't really know none of this. It's not bad music. The crowd just ain't met these songs yet. Now, the band's been living with them for a year, but everyone in the audience is hearing it for the first time. And then the band gets mad at the crowd. Man, who's dead tonight? No, you took away from them the songs they love. You took away the songs that they came to hear and replaced it with all this new stuff that they've never heard before. You don't want to force feed a crowd your new record. You want to slowly introduce it. You want to give them a taste of it. Just because your record is new doesn't mean that those songs are the strongest in your set list. Hey, your set list is what got you popular. You don't want to abandon, the 15, 20 songs that you play and introduce 15 new songs that no one's ever heard of. It's like now you're just some band they don't know because they don't know any of your material. You want to keep your existing set list and introduce a couple of new cuts. Yeah, maybe the new single, throw that in. Once you got 2 or 3 new singles, throw those in. But you definitely don't want to play, 10 cuts off the new album and then 4 or 5 of the old standards that you used to play. You still want to give the crowd what they want. Another issue I've seen is the band's moving too fast. They want to drop the album, let it be out for a month, and then they want to be back in the studio recording on the next one. I've seen it. It sneaks up on them. Let's start the next one, man. What about the one you just finished? You didn't fail. You just didn't even give it time to work. It's too soon. I want to say a good album, well done, with a good budget, at least a year. At least. And here's my final one I'm going to leave you with. Lack of success. And I don't mean lack of success as in you don't make it or you don't achieve success. I mean it as in you don't know what success is, so you give up. And I'm talking about streams. I'm talking about fans. I'm talking about your actual live shows. Because you don't know success, you're going to stab yourself in the foot. Or you're going to shoot yourself in the foot, I should say. Again, that's why I think second albums are so important. Success would be, for example, if your first album got 50,000 streams, sold, let's say, 800 CDs, 200 vinyls, and it made, $1,500 profit. That's your basis. That's your ground level now. That's your starting base now. Now on your second album, success for album 2 is getting more streams. You were at 50,000. Now this next one you're going to shoot for 100,000 or 200,000. Maybe the first one didn't chart. Maybe it didn't hit top 200 Billboard. Maybe it didn't hit top 100. But maybe on this one you're shooting for just breaking the top 200. Having a base is really important, guys. That way you know how you're growing and when you're growing. Because if for some reason later on you wind up with worse numbers, you know that somewhere down the line something changed. And you better figure it out. You want to stay in the game. If you don't define what your success is, you're going to feel lost. Even though you did succeed, you're not going to know. So define your success. Hey guys, our goal for this album is this amount of streams, this amount of sales, with this many shows, and we're going to try to make this much from shows, and we're going to try to make this much from streaming. That's your goal. It's awesome to have goals. You don't want to see, well, what happens, happens. No, guys. Don't take that attitude. Set your goals. Set your focus on the goals and go after them. I've seen amazing records disappear. Not because they weren't good. Not because nobody cared. Not because they weren't good, but because nobody carried them after they were born. Finishing the record isn't a job. raising it is. It's what you do after the record drops. That's what decides if it lives or if it disappears. Guys, there's absolutely no reason why you shouldn't have a successful launch and why you shouldn't have a successful record. It's like anything else. You make your plan, you execute it, then you look at what worked, what didn't work, you revise, and you do it again. I used to have a college professor that would tell me, we're not splitting atoms here, Chops. It's 12 notes and they repeat. Always got a kick from that. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this one. Some real talk about some hard work, maybe not going anywhere because you didn't know what to do after the album was launched. So don't make these mistakes. You got this. It's not hard. All you got to do is just stay focused. Keep your eye on the prize. Guys, thank you so much for joining me on this episode. Like always, if you like what you're hearing and you want to keep the ball rolling, please consider being a sponsor of the show. On the front side of this podcast, there's a support the show button. You can click. It's going to take you to a support the show page. Hey, you can support the show with $3 a month or $3 gazillion a month, whatever if so inclined. Guys, I will catch you on the next one. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Laters.
We're hanging out with Chops. Time just never stops. Answers fade like drops on a broken ticking clock.